we're here to chat about alcohol habits and how you might be able to reduce your alcohol consumption. We've got some top tips. We're going to be having a chat with Antony today, who's going to be talking us through his personal experience and a bit of his wisdom and knowledge as well on the topic. And I know you're into your fitness, Antony, so we'll touch on that as well.
Yeah.
But just to kick us off, I've got a really important question for you. Give me your favourite movie.
My favourite movie.
There we go, straight in.
I've got so many movies I like series, but probably I really like Lord of the Rings as a set, but my favourite movie of all time is the original Space Jam.
Space Jam, I love that.
I used to watch that as a child multiple times a week.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, I think it's nostalgia that I like the most about it.
What's life look like for you? What's your career? What do you do as a job?
Currently head chef, restaurant, so that's like about 48 hours a week in a kitchen. Go to gym probably an hour and a half before every shift in day, probably 5 times a week, and I try and drill that into all my staff at work and everything. You've only got one body, you've got to look after yourself. It ties into obviously the alcohol and things. I don't see any benefits for it. You just got to look after yourself, really.
What was your first experience of alcohol?
My mum and dad, they're not big drinkers, so they never had a problem if, like a Christmas party, you wanted a drink or you wanted a shandy. They were never a thing. I never felt the urge to do it. And I've got 2 older brothers that obviously they reached the age you can drink before I did, so I kind of saw what it does, and I was never that interested. So, but I think you feel like it's a rite of passage. So when I was 18, your first thing you do is just go to the pub. And I had 3 birthday parties for my 18th because I couldn't remember the first 2. I was just blackout drunk. And I think you just carry that on for years. Like every Tuesday, my friend worked in a pub, so we had keys to the pool table. So all we do is play pool and just drink for like 8 hours a day. It was like, why am I doing that?
So moving on to when things changed for you, when did your perceptions of alcohol and you come to the decision, I want to cut back and I want to limit how much I'm going to drink?
I think it was just a general overhaul of my life. When I turned 30, you get a sense of your own mortality. You're not a young man anymore, and I got quite sick with COVID. I was bedbound for 2 days, and I was like, wow, I am unhealthy. So I just took a thing of everything that's bad in my life. Let's take it out, start the gym and things like that. And then my mum got quite sick, so she needed a kidney transplant. So I went through some tests for living donor, and they check your kidneys and your liver, and are you going to live with 1 kidney for the rest of your life? And when you go through tests like that, like alcohol use, you're not going to be able to do it anymore. So it's like you see them, and they go, that's really bad for your life. It's essentially just drinking poison. So I think that was quite a big turning point when you see, especially someone you love, and you go, ooh, I need to make some real decisions because someone's counting on me. How
much did it have an impact on you, though, that sort of getting COVID, in terms of deciding I'm going to be a bit more healthy, going to go to the gym?
Yeah, like I've never thought of myself as unwell. I was never overweight, never a sickly man. And I was just literally bedbound for 2 days, walking up and down stairs or out of breath. And yeah, you're like, wow, I probably should start running more, walking more. I think when you get like your license, you just drive everywhere and just eating food, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, everything's at your fingertips instantaneously all the time. And I don't think we're aware of what we're doing a lot of the time. It's convenience over actually making good decisions. I can't remember the last time I really had a drink. I prefer alcohol. I think the alcohol-free stuff you can get these days is just the same, really. You get that socially, people see a drink, and unless they read label, they don't really know you're not drinking. I think it comes with that, like, people ask, why aren't you drinking? Which has always baffled me. You know, what's up with you? Why aren't you drinking? I just don't want to. It's almost more odd that you don't drink.
It's like a cultural thing.
Yeah, I think it's a cultural norm of that's just what people do, and yeah, strange.
What do you think to that culture?
I think it's a bit embarrassing, especially when you see like countries now don't want British tourists, because we've almost exported that culture that we're just big drinkers, loud, and we can't control ourselves. I think it's embarrassing.
Moving on to sort of the benefits of not drinking or really limiting your drinking, what for you have been the health benefits?
I'd sleep mainly. I notice if I've ever had a drink, I know I have 8 hours sleep, but it feels like I've fell asleep and woke up 2 minutes later, and I feel like you borrow tomorrow's happiness. Is how I always put it. You have a really good night the night before, and the next day you feel rough. So now every day I wake up, I'm more alert. I've got more energy. I feel like I look a lot better. I don't struggle. There's no extra weight around here. I'm carrying a tiny bit, but that's because I like food. There's no beer belly anymore. Yeah, just an overall feeling a lot better.
And how much has fitness sort of played a part in that then for you, and sort of swapping that?
Um,
Yeah, not swapping drinking, because like you say, for you it's never been a massive thing. But how much has that helped in terms?
Yeah,
of...
I think I slowly just phase one out and the other one in. I've replaced it. I think everyone has some sort of crux somewhere, but luckily I've replaced mine with quite a healthy one. And it's always nice because I think drinking's a waste of time. But going to the gym, people are always like, "Oh, you look like you're doing well, or you're looking more in shape," which is more motivation. I don't think people hear words of affirmation enough. So when you get that, you're like, oh, I'm going to stay. I'm going to carry on doing this bit actually. So I think it has definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, and going into those sort of top tips, what top tips would you offer to someone then who's trying to reduce the amount they drink?
Try some of the non-alcoholic versions, some substitutes. You'll still get the same flavour, but you don't get the after effects. So just try monitoring how much you're drinking and why you're doing it. Not just, oh, I'm going to have a drink because I'm out or because I've finished work. You just, try and swap it for something else. Hit the gym. Hit the gym is my biggest one. I think everybody should join gym. As much as I hate it when it's busy, join the gym. That's probably the best tip I've got.
And one of the biggest challenges with these things is it's always the consistency is key, isn't it? It's just when you want to cut down your drinking, maybe change your eating habits, maybe get a bit fitter. It's always that, how do I do it on a consistent basis? What's that been like for you, and what would your advice be for people on how they can just keep it going, really?
Yeah, you've just got to have some discipline. Most people are motivated to make good choices and they all know what they need to do, but you've got to do it on the days you don't want to do it. It's okay when you're set in that mood of I'm gonna start a diet on Monday, and then Monday comes around and you don't want to do it. You've got to be disciplined and tell yourself it's Monday, it's now. And if you give yourself enough days, I think it's like 60 days to develop a habit, which 2 months in your life is not a long time. So if you can just keep it going for that many days, it will go. Like me in the gym now, if I don't go, I feel bad. I feel like I've wasted a day. I ain't been for 3 days and I'm feeling guilty that I've just parked in car park and not gone in. So yeah, I think discipline more than motivation is important. You can let yourself, have a little bit off every now and again. You're not going to be perfect every day, but as long as over a stretch of time you're doing well, I think you'll manage.
And does it get easier? I guess
It
that's the
does.
question.
It does. I don't miss drinking at all. I think it just becomes your habit and who you are eventually.
And for you, what would you say to people who maybe are watching this right now and their alcohol is just a little bit out of control, they know it, but they're really struggling to sort of start containing it? What would your message be to them?
Small steps. Try small steps. Just no one's going to go cold turkey. If you've got a problem with drinking, I think cold turkey, you're never going to get to the top of the mountain. You've got to slowly climb it. You've got to make easy, small adjustments in your life to help you reach the top. I think, don't overface yourself. People will overestimate what they can do in a month, but underestimate what they can do in a year.